So let's look into how we can configure a webhook channel. Now, since I'm saying that through a webhook channel, you can integrate your bot with any external communication system. Okay, so if there are multiple messaging applications or communication systems from where you want to call a bot and talk to a bot. Okay, so for each of those applications you can enable a webhook channel. So a bot can have multiple webhook channels added to it depending on how many applications you want to integrate your bot with. Okay, so now we look into the configuration of the webhook channel. In the instructions, you get all the details, how the response will look, what is your payload for from the webhook channel and all. So all of those details are over here. We'll go into the configuration and see how we can configure. So you can see you can give a name to this channel. This is not required for any other channel, but only for the webhook channel. And that is because for the webhook channel, you can have multiple webhooks depending on how many applications you want to integrate your bot with. Okay, so just give a name to the webhook channel. That is maybe the name of the application through from where you are going to use the webhook, or something like webhook 1, 2, 3, something like that. Once again, you need to create an app over here, because from that external application, you're going to call the bot. And for that authorization of that call, we will need the JWT, for which we need the client ID and secret. So you can create an app if you don't have an app already, or you can select from the existing list of apps. So if you want to create an app, you can click over here and give a name to your app. Or I have a lot many applications already created. I select one of them, and that will give me the client ID and secret that is required to generate this JWT. Okay, you can have two modes of integration, synchronous and asynchronous. I'm going to show you the synchronous integration. You can refer to our documentation for the asynchronous integration. It is the same, the basic thing will be the same, but there in asynchronous you also need to provide the URL of the site with which you are doing that synchronization within our bot. Okay, so that is your asynchronous mode of integration. And enable channel, of course, it is yes, and click on save to save this channel onto the bot. So once you have added this channel, if you look back into the channel integration configuration, you will see an additional this thing is available now, which is the webhook URL. Okay, so this is the URL which you will use in your external application when you are calling the bot from that particular application. Okay, so we will copy this particular URL because we are going to use this URL to call the bot from an external application. I'm going to use Postman over here to show you the demonstration, but you can use any other application from where you can use this URL to talk to the bot. Now, there's a difference between the two. Yesterday, I was using Postman to show you how to use our APIs. So through the APIs, what we were doing is we were performing different functions which are available on the bots platform, something like testing for a particular intent, or exporting utterances, importing utterances, exporting a bot, importing a bot, generating the change logs. So these are different functions which are available on the bots platform. Through a webhook, you're going to talk to the bot. You're not going to perform those functions, but you're going to talk to the bot. And depending on what are the use cases which are handled within that particular bot, you can trigger tasks and see the execution of the task. Okay, so that is what is a webhook all about. It is not about performing functionalities on the bot's platform, but it is for talking to that particular bot. Okay. So once you have enabled the webhook, remember to publish your bot every time whenever you want to access the bot from outside the platform. Remember, you have to publish your bot. Okay, so unless and until you publish, it will not be accessible outside the bot's platform. So we say yes over here, we want to publish it. And now once it is published, the next step will be to generate the web token, the JSON web token. Okay, so I go back to the channels because I need the client ID and secret. Okay, if you are integrating from some other place and you want to generate the JWT, because that will be required as a token for the authorization, that is in the headers, you will need to provide that authorization token. So provide the client ID and the secret so that whoever wants to do this integration can generate the JWT. Okay. Now I come to JSON JWT.io service, and you can see the way the payload has to be configured when it is for webhooks. So you can see over here that you have to add a subject. Sub followed by any name. Okay, put any name over here, your name of your bot or the name of the application from where you're doing the integration, anything. And the second parameter in the payload is the app ID. So copy your client ID from here and put it as the app ID over here. Okay. The next thing is the secret over here. So the payload differs when it is a JWT for APIs and when it is a JWT for webhook integration. Okay, so now we are going to provide the secret over here. So come and copy the client secret from here and paste it here. So these are two things you should remember. That is, when you are generating the JWT, the payload for a webhook integration should have the parameter subject or sub over there with a name of the bot or the name of the application from where you are doing whatever that is a subject, and we refer to that as sub, and followed by the app ID, which is the client ID, and the client secret over here. So you get the JWT generated with those details. Copy it. And now I'm going to go to Postman, and from there I'm going to uh, make a call to this particular bot. Okay, so it will be a post call because we are going to send a body of request to the bot. So it will be a post call that we are making. Come back to your configuration, copy this URL, webhook URL, and paste it over here in the request URL. Paste that webhook URL that you have created. Come to headers and put your token over here. So authorization, this time not auth but authorization. Copy the JWT, and here you can put it as bearer. Okay, followed by the token. Okay, uh, come to body. Okay, so it will be a application JSON body that I'm passing over here, and the next thing is the request body that is going to contain an utterance from the user, which will help the bot to identify an intent. Okay, so I have a request ready which I can use here. So your request will look something like this. Okay, so you can see message. Within message you have the text, and in the text put in your utterance for which you want to send to the bot, from followed by the ID of the user who is sending this particular request, to followed by the ID of the bot to which you are sending this request. Okay, so copy the bot ID from here. So you can see the bot ID is available over here. Copy this bot ID and put it over here. Okay, once this is ready, click on send, and it should trigger, it should talk to the bot. Okay, so this time you can see that task has been identified correctly, and you can see the bot has responded back with enter your account number. Okay, so let's say I'm entering an account number like 2. Okay, and I click on send. So you can see the entire interaction with the bot is taking place over this particular channel. So now this webhook, this Postman is acting as a channel over here through which the user is talking to the bot. Okay, so Postman, it is a kind of a messaging channel. So using this API or the URL, I am triggering an interaction with the bot which has been published on our platform. So that is what you can do through a webhook. We do not have a channel for Postman, but what I'm doing is through a webhook integration, I'm allowing this application to talk to our bot. Okay, so this is the way the interaction will take place. So now you can see the available balance in your account is followed by the current balance, and then it comes up with end of the task is true, the task has been fulfilled, and the completed task name is check balance. Okay, and this is the ID, the completed task ID generated by the platform. So this is how you can use a webhook in order to integrate your bot or to call your bot from some application, communication application, which is not available as a channel on our platform. Okay. Any questions on this integration? Okay. You can refer to our documentation where you will get the details of these requests and all. Okay, so if you don't remember how to put this request and all, please do refer to our documentation for these configurations, this advanced configurations. You need to refer to our documentation. So look into the configuration of the webhook channel. Okay, and within that particular documentation you will get all of this configuration details. Okay, so if you look here, you can see this is the post call. Okay, and you will also get the JWT this thing and the sample payload coming up over here. You also get the curl request. So from any Java program or something, if you want to call, you can use the curl request where you have the authorization, the content type, and followed by the message, which is the actual request that you are sending to the bot. Okay, so refer to this particular documentation for the details of how to configure the webhook channel. Any questions on webhook channel?